And we're live.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 59 of Kids Deserve It. We hope you've been enjoying our weekly chats with educators and game changers from around the country. Also, don't forget, you can listen to our podcast on iTunes.
And if you haven't checked out our book, Kids Deserve It, yet, don't forget it is available on Amazon. And while you're waiting for the paper copy to come in, we keep reminding that the Kindle version drops to $2.99 while you wait.
Also, don't forget to join us for our Kids Deserve It chat on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and check out Todd's Periscope right before the chats at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This week, we got another great guest, but first, we want to introduce ourselves. I am Adam Welcome, Director of Innovation and Technology in the Bay Area of California.
And I'm Todd Nesloni, Elementary School Principal in Navasota, Texas. And I'm so thrilled to welcome our guest this week, Jerry Brooks. Jerry, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I should have corrected you because you pronounced my name correctly, and then it was pronounced incorrectly. So it is Gary. So you started out right, and then we got it switched off. So, but that's everybody in my district calls me Gary Jerry because nobody can get it right. So that works.
Well, good. Glad we got it right now. Gary Brooks, we're so thrilled to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
We want to remind our viewers to participate on social media as well, using the hashtag Kids Deserve It, as we love seeing the stuff from the episodes that stick out to you.
So, Jerry, we have a few questions for you. So for those who don't know about you, tell us about yourself.
I'm a principal in Lexington, Kentucky at Liberty Elementary School. I've been there for 5 years, and before that I was in Bourbon County, neighboring district. I've been a principal for 14 years, a teacher for 6 years, and kind of started doing some videos about a year and 2 months ago, and they kind of went viral, so it's been kind of crazy from there. So
So Gary, talk to me a little bit about your leap into administration. How did you decide when to do that, and what's it been like since?
Well, I was in youth ministry and for 9 years, and came here in Lexington and went back into the classroom for a year and went from a math specialist into third grade classroom, and went back to school at University of Kentucky to get my administration degree. And through that, I felt like it would be, I think as educators, you're always looking at the next thing that you can do and how you can influence more people. And so I felt like my gifts would probably better be served in a school situation where I was helping teachers and helping them to be able to teach and affect their classroom. So I went from a third grade classroom into assistant principal, actually at the school that I'm at now. It was J.R. Ewing, and I was there for a year and then moved to Bourbon County for 7 years. And then they closed down J.R. Ewing and opened it up into Liberty. And then I came back into the principalship there. So it's just kind of an evolvement, that the way I think you would evolve as an adult or as an educator, that the classroom was fantastic and I love that. But I really felt like my gifts would be better served in an administrative position.
I feel the same way about my career. I love that you said that. So we were talking a little bit before about your YouTube videos, and they are super funny. Like, how did that start? And is there one that's like your favorite in particular, you would say?
Well, it started, we were in testing, which I feel like is ridiculous. We had state testing coming up, and the teachers, it was very stressful, and we had to move everything off the walls, and everybody had to be quiet that day. You were just getting to a lot of stress. And so I started videoing in the mornings, and I just sent a real quick videotape to the teachers during testing, and they seemed to like it. And then we're year-round, principals are year-round. And so during the summer, I was at the school by myself. And so I would just send out some videos every once in a while to the teachers. And at Christmas, I did one when we had a snow day, because principals are year-round. We have to work on snow days. So I did my What Principals Do on Snow Days, and it ended up getting 3 million views on Facebook. And from there, my niece is a teacher, and she said, you need to move off of Facebook, because I maxed out my friends in one day and go to a Facebook page. And so I went from being personal Facebook to a Facebook fan page, and it's just kind of, blown up from there.
Is there one video that's your favorite?
Yeah, well, I think that my favorite is the grade level groupies, because the fact that it's so real to life, of using the Dollar Tree dolls as teachers, and how as principals, we try to divide and conquer and talk to one teacher and hopefully let that get out slowly. But it tends to be that whenever I get one teacher, they set an alarm off, and it ends up being 2 and 3 and then 4 and then an entire grade level, when I'm trying to have a private conversation with one teacher to get information out. So that tends to be my favorite because it's just real life. It's what we deal with as principals, and it's humorous, and the teachers can get it because the fact that they, that's what they want. When there's information coming out, they don't want it one-on-one. They want to be able to get together as a group and stand strong. So to me, it's just real world, and I think it's the funniest one.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, I loved what the principal does on a snow day one, but especially your videos are very timely too. Like as soon as something happens nationally or something big in education, you can make a video real quickly that ties in. Because I loved your one about grizzly bears that you just released as well. Our staff was joking about all wanting to purchase big bottles of glitter.
Right.
So I love that you do that as well. But for you personally, what was school like growing up when you were growing up?
Well, I went to Rockledge Elementary, very small elementary school. And whenever I do a presentation, I show the picture of my 4th, 5th grade classroom. The school was too small to have one grade level. So I was in a 4-5 split with some people that I'm still great friends with. So it was a very small school. And then my dad was a PE teacher. And so I went to his middle school, which was not a very good situation. So I went to his middle school for a year and then transferred to a different middle school that was there. It was just, it was typical school. I think I enjoyed school, but mostly for the popularity of it. I enjoyed the friends. I was not a straight A student, but the socialization kind of got me through it and meeting so many great people. And I feel like that's probably why I wanted to go into education, was just meeting so many great teachers who invested in my life as somebody that was very outgoing, but struggled a little bit in school. So, school was fantastic, and parents watched over me and there all the time and made just, lifelong friends in that process. Even now, as a 50-year-old, still talking with people that I went to school with in elementary school and in middle school and high school.
Nice. Well, you obviously have fun at school. You have a great personality, but what is the hardest thing for you to flip it in education, do you think? What's the hardest part about being in education, do you think?
As a principal or as education
in general,
overall?
You choose.
Well, I think in education, I think that we're in a situation where everybody has an opinion, and so we're constantly under fire for things that we sometimes can't control and sometimes do control. We have decisions that are being made by people that don't know and shouldn't be making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
We have the state making us take state testing, and some states we do not have, but some states have high stakes testing, which puts a tremendous amount of pressure. So, it's not like it is when we were growing up, where school was school and we were there to learn. And, we're dealing with our classrooms and our schools, but we're also dealing with the stress of lots of people wanting to give input and a whole lot of people that have input that don't have any experience or qualifications to be able to give that input. So I think it's just a struggle these days in education. I think it's a stress that rather than get the respect I think that teachers and educators deserve a lot of times, unfortunately, what we get is a lot of political opinions, and then we get backed into a corner about things, and it's very sad that I don't think that educators get the respect they deserve.
Right. Well, what would you say, Gary, is the biggest piece of advice that you would give educators and how to best support kids?
I think relationships, that is the key. I think it's a climate and culture situation, and I truly believe that every kid that is in your classroom is there for a reason. And I know that's a hard sell, especially when you get a classroom of kids that are difficult. But I really believe and that's one of the things that I speak on when I go to conferences on personal climate and culture is, we know what climate and culture is. We want to be at a school that has great climate and culture, but teachers don't understand the importance of personal climate and culture. And so they run their classroom. And when the teacher's in a bad mood, the kids are in a bad mood. When the teachers are wanting to be there and excited about something, so are the kids. And so my biggest piece of advice would be to realize how you affect and your attitude and your preparation affects your classroom and affects your teachers.
So, Jerry, when you're having one of those rough days, you can't get out of bed, what do you do to kick your butt in gear and get to school and to be excited for kids and teachers?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm at an excellent school. I mean, I really and truly do. I don't have those days where I'm just miserable, and I know some people do, and it's that way. I get overwhelmed a lot with the requirements that we have, from a district and what we have to deal with. But, I feel like it's important as a principal to keep that away from the teachers. And so I think teachers don't realize everything that goes on and all the stresses that stress in administration has. So, I mean, I think for me if I'm stressed out, then I just have to make it until 7:48. and school starts, and I can walk through the classrooms and I can see the teachers, working with the kids, and I can see the kids going down the hallways, and that just brightens your day. And I know that everybody's not like that because you get to different points in your career. But at this point, I am in a school that has absolute tremendous teachers. I have unbelievable support staff with me, and the kids are fantastic, great parent support. So, I think it would be different if it wasn't that situation. But for me right now, if I'm stressing, I've just got to make it till that bell rings, and then I know I can go from classroom to classroom and kind of see the kids and the teachers and see what they're doing.
I love that. So who is someone that you would say inspires you or challenges you to be better?
My daughter, who just walked by with, I think, toast in her hand. Well, it's funny because I spoke with Ron Clark this weekend. I was at the Wright conference, and I had not met him before, and I had, I'd heard about him and heard about his life, and he was really inspirational. He had a lot of really good things to say, especially as a principal. He's tremendously supportive of his teachers, but he really had a lot of good things to say to me as administrator also. So, I really admire him and the things that he's done. I could never, and I tell teachers this that are in our district that are at schools that are struggling a little bit, I could never do that. And I know that about myself. So I really respect people who are able to take on challenging schools with struggling students. And he's one of those ones that I just think has done a tremendous job, who loves his job, has sacrificed a tremendous amount of his own life for education. And he's very inspirational. So I think right now, he's probably it. It just so happened that yesterday I was with him. So it's kind of a pat answer, but it really is true that I can't wait to dive into his books and kind of learn more about him and join in with his philosophy.
Love that.
All right, Gary. Every week we like our guests to leave a challenge for our viewers. What is your challenge for the week?
Well, I would say I have a 2 challenge because, one of the things that Ron said this weekend is, if you're a teacher, you need to get your principal's name out of your mouth. And that's a slang thing for, don't be talking bad about your principal. So I would challenge teachers to say something encouraging to your principal, because I think that doesn't happen. And I know that they love that from administration, but it just does not happen. I think if the teachers went back and read their last 4 months worth of emails, there would not be one specifically to that principal saying, thank you for this very specific thing that you do. And so I'd like to encourage all the teachers, to make an effort this week to specifically thank their principals for something that they've done that they appreciate. And then vice versa for the administrations. I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and, I hate it when they call to say, I just feel like I'm, everything's bad. What's going on wrong? That administrators would step up and do the same thing and just tell their teachers, how much they appreciate that. And, by that same token too, if there's any parents, I think we as parents, especially teacher parents, we forget that, somebody has our kids too. Mm-hmm. And because we're teachers, we kind of blow that off, or we see them in the hallways. I just encourage everybody to step out and to do some heartfelt encouragement through email or a personal note or a text message, to say, I really appreciate this specific thing that you're doing in my life.
I think that is an excellent challenge for everyone. Well, Gary, thank you so much for coming on our show this week. I know that it's Super Bowl Sunday, and you just got home and got a lot going on, so we appreciate your time so much.
Absolutely. I certainly do appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you guys again sometime.
Awesome. We want to thank our viewers as well for watching the show. Remember, you can check us out on Twitter @KidsDeserveIt or on Facebook at facebook.com/KidsDeserveIt. And you can also get one of our limited edition Kids Deserve It t-shirts this month only until next Sunday. It's our pinned tweet, and it's also been shared a bunch of times on our Facebook. So get one of those. And our guest next week will be Beth Huff. So we hope to see you all then. Everybody have a great week.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. See